Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about why the good morning is just simply a more versatile tool than the Romanian deadlift. And I know this is one of these things that sounds like a minor point, and I've made multiple videos kind of discussing these sort of topics, but I keep having people in the comments ask me all the time, and I even have clients ask me, can they replace the good morning with a Romanian deadlift? And the answer is no. It can work the other way around. All right, it can work the other way around. You can replace the Romanian deadlift with a good morning, but you can't replace the good morning with a Romanian deadlift. And it's because the good morning is a much more versatile tool. Now, they both achieve the same thing. If you watch what I'm doing with the good morning right there, it looks exactly like a Romanian deadlift, right? It's the exact same movement. It's just that the bar is sitting up on my back or my traps instead of being held in my hands. Well, that matters. And that's one of the things that you see come up a lot. You'll see a lot of lifters, some other power lifters, some well-known power lifters will say, well, I think the Romanian deadlift's better because we can use a heavier weight. It's like, but that's not the reason we do supplemental lifts, right? We look at a lift and say, hey, which variation can I do the heaviest weight with when we're trying to go to competition to lift a 1 rep max? Right? That's where we start looking at stuff like, well, do I want to do a sumo deadlift or a conventional deadlift? Well, which one are you stronger at? How wide should I grip the bar? How wide should I place my feet? I don't know which one lets you lift 50 more pounds. And yes, it will be that big. On a conventional deadlift, your hand and foot placement can literally make the difference between 40 or 50 pounds on your max. It can. So that's what you're looking at. When we are training and doing supplemental lifts, we need to be looking at which one's going to let me build the most muscle. Which one's going to let me build the most muscle with the lowest chance of injury and build the muscle where I want it. Now, in this case, the only advantage the Romanian deadlift has is that it can train your grip. But is anybody really using it that way? I mean, realistically, how many people are using the RDL as a grip training tool who use it? Well, a lot of guys who, if they try to do that, they're probably going to be doing mixed grip. Well, you're doing large amounts of rep work with a mixed grip. I guess you could alternate every set. Now that has a potential for some upper body muscle imbalance. Because what are we doing when we're doing an RDL? You're probably doing a bunch of sets of 8s, 10s, whatever. You're going to have to mix the grip to use it for grip training. Otherwise, you're just not going to be able to hold onto the weight. It's going to be too much weight for too many reps once you have any strength base to handle anything. It's fine if you're a noob, but what happens if you're actually strong? How strong is your Romanian deadlift? Take someone like me, I could probably do 10 reps with 405. My back and everything is strong enough to do that. Do you think I can grip that? And there's better grip training tools anyway. So to me, that's a non-issue. That's kind of a ridiculous one. I have other grip training tools that are way more effective. So we come over to the point. The good morning lets you use less weight. Well, it's easier to recover from. It's easier to recover from while working all the same muscles other than the grip. Because if you look at the angles involved, look at where the bar is versus hanging down in your hands and then the moment arms. You use a lot less weight to put the same amount of tension on the hamstrings, glutes, spinal erectors. Because that's what we mean, right? We're talking about tension. How much tension is being put on a muscle? What's a lighter weight with that? Okay, it's easier to recover from. Well, if it's easier to recover from, we can do more volume. We can do more total sets. We can do more total sets that put the same amount of tension on the hamstrings, erectors. Right? Therefore, it is a better hypertrophy tool. And if your hamstrings and erectors are bigger, because you can do slightly more hypertrophy, which one's better for increasing your deadlift? This should be obvious. Now, Let's come over and talk about what you can't do with the RDL. Can you do really high rep, high volume training? Probably not. That fatigue really adds up, especially if you're trying to grip it in your hands. People are like, well, just use straps. Well, then you remove the grip. Just do a good morning then. If you're going to strap up, what do you get out of it? So what do we get out of these? You guys see me doing a bunch of sets of 20. I also do band work. You guys have seen me do these against bands. I have clients who have histories of back injuries. I have a client who's deadlifting close to 500 pounds who has a herniated disc in his back. Careful use of good mornings allows him to function. Just really high rep good mornings. You guys see me doing high rep good mornings, right? Lately I've been doing sets of 20 pretty frequently. Think about that in terms of what we do for blood flow, connective tissue, everything in the low back. Right, that is an amazing injury prevention tool. Think about what that does with work capacity for the hamstring. Same thing. If we can do those sort of workloads on it, it'll stretch reflex movement for the hamstring. What do we do to the tendons down by the knee? Well, we strengthen those tendons very effectively. If we are getting superior tendon strengthening at the point where our hamstring inserts down at the knee, and we're getting superior connective tissue hypertrophy in our low back, what does this do to our injury risks on a deadlift? Okay, this is an injury prevention tool. People say, well, I could do that Romanian deadlift. Can you? You could do 4 sets of 20 with a Romanian deadlift twice a week. Do 4 sets of 20 twice a week with near your 20 rep max. See what that does to your recovery. See if you can do any deadlifting still with that. Conversely, take how often you guys see me max out on a deadlift and how many total reps and sets I do with good mornings every week. You going to do that with an RDL? I don't think so. So we kind of come to that point of there's a lot of things you can do with the good morning as a training tool that you can't do with a Romanian deadlift. Does that mean the Romanian deadlift is a bad exercise? No. Does it mean you should never train the RDL, that it could never be a useful tool for you? No. Of course not. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is people who do very low volume, moderate intensity training don't tend to think in these terms of optimization. Do you know why? Because they don't have to. Because they don't care if they only get 50% results. But when you're pushing the bleeding edge like I'm doing these days, or you push clients as hard as I push some of my clients, the use of these tools in this manner starts to matter. It starts to become important. And it's something that seems like a really, really minor point until you start really pushing serious volume and workload. And then these things start to matter. They start to matter a lot. And that's part of what goes on with my channel. You know, this channel does include a lot of stuff for novices, but it includes a lot of stuff for advanced lifters, for serious lifters. And let's come back over to that other point. What about just a weak novice lifter? I have them all do good mornings. I have all of my clients do good mornings. I have weak novice clients who do good mornings with an empty barbell. They do good mornings with an empty barbell, and you know what? They get a benefit from it. They don't even need extra grip training because they do pendlay rows and they do deadlifts, right? Strengthen their low back with high rep good mornings so that they don't get hurt later. So we could make that argument as far as more advanced lifters pushing really high workloads, but what about your novice lifters? Lightweight, high rep good mornings, even for your novice lifter, can be a game changer. You're building a foundation in their low back and hamstrings and work capacity there that is going to help keep them injury free, potentially for their whole training career. Right? So it works even for them. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.